Welcome to the Youth Level 4 video. In Level 4, we start to work a greater distance, about 2/3 of the way across the pool, working on form for all strokes in that level. We start off with freestyle kicking, strong fast kick, moving in a circle swim pattern. One child is kicking out and the other child is kicking back. In Level 4, it is critical to use circle swimming so you have time to give feedback to each student, but students are getting the most practice time. From here, we move to the X, Y, I float again. We're using this float to really be able to maintain proper head position. Stephanie demonstrates for the students X, Y, I, and into streamline kicking with correct head position. Each of the students practice. She helps lower their head in the water, bring them into the I position, and send them off. Doing this drill at the beginning of class really helps ensure proper head and body alignment position, making it easier to swim strokes efficiently. From there, we drill one goggle breathing, showing each child what their head position should look like in a side breath. One goggle remains in the water. She then shows in the stroke what this looks like. When she takes her side breath, the whole side of her face stays in the water. The students come off doing their freestyle and working their side breath. Stephanie assists for the side breath, and it is very brief, enough to just get a quick inhale. This has progressed from the Level 3, where it might have had a 1-second float on the back or an extended side breath. From here, we move to swimming on our back. Stephanie is cueing the proper streamline position. Hand over hand, thumb wraps around the opposite pinky finger. She tests for strong arms. She then demonstrates a streamline back glide with kicking. Now the students can give it a try. This student here is struggling with a bicycle kick. Throughout the class, Stephanie will work with her on that kick. Now the next student goes. He's struggling to get his arms tight overhead and his legs on the top of the water. The more the student squeezes his ears, the easier this skill is going to become. He is also struggling with his kick, so Stephanie brings him to the side and helps him learn to point his toes and have his kick originate from the hip, not from the knee. Oftentimes, boys struggle with the concept of pointing their toes, so it's important to practice this. We're now ready to add the arms into the stroke, demonstrating while standing, looking for the thumb to come up first, turn of the hand, and pinky enters the water. This is important to start to cue this in Level 4. The student here is doing a great job pivoting their hand open. He is still struggling with his kick that's drifted about a foot below the water. As our next student goes, Ellie, we notice she is still struggling with the bicycle kick. Stephanie brings her over to the side to help instruct her to kick from her hip bone. She shows her what not to do and then shows her the correct way. It's going to take some time for Ellie to understand this kick, but making sure to correct it every pass will help her gain the correct muscle memory. Stephanie also guides her to point her toes. After practicing the kick, she brings it back to the full stroke again. The kick is a little better, definitely still needs work. Stephanie again, with level 4, cues that it shouldn't be one arm at a time, but the pace should be quick with one arm up and one arm down. She's working with this class on their tempo so that they can have a more efficient stroke. She's cueing them quick, quick, quick to try to get their turnover rate of their arms at a faster rate. The student here seems to get it a little better on the way back. Now we move in to the dolphin kick. Practicing with hands by their sides, also called hands in pockets. Each student gives it a try. The dolphin kick should be a somewhat slow motion. The way the student doing it here is a good pace. Ellie needs to work on her head position looking straight down, and this kick will be much better. We now cue adding the arms. We're looking for the thumbs to be facing the water and wrists to come forward, with nice straight arms just over the water's edge. Stephanie's cueing pinkies facing the ceiling. She's going to demonstrate for the students a few strokes of the butterfly. When you demonstrate this, it's always good not to take a breath and see the stroke in full form. Our student here is doing a good job with the arms, but has too many kicks in between each arm stroke. She gives him some feedback to practice on the way back. He does a good job keeping his hands moving in a circular motion. We now move to breaststroke arms. Stephanie is cueing here to make sure to glide after each stroke. They practice the arm motion. And next, we'll add the breath to it. She works with each student to understand. She's using a poem. Trace the pizza and slice it down the middle. Trace the pizza and slice it. Breathing out on the glide, coming right up for a breath as soon as the hands move. Now each student practices this. This is an important skill to practice and understand while your feet are just standing on the dock. It takes a lot to learn breaststroke timing. Stephanie demonstrates the full stroke. Pull, breathe, kick, glide. Ellie here gets a little confused between her butterfly arms and her breaststroke arms. You can see that she's learning the arms here, but she's using a flutter kick. That's okay in the beginning, but eventually we're going to want her to use a breaststroke kick with this. Breaststroke arms with flutter kick can be a good drill to use to really just focus on the arms of the stroke. Our Our student here needs to know to take a breath as soon as his arms move. He does look like he's making an attempt at a breaststroke kick, but there is a flutter kick in between. Again, looking for proper head position in every stroke. Now we work on treading water. Using a whip kick or a breaststroke kick, we have a little fun with these guys, trying one hand up in the air, or waving with the other hand, or hey, let's try two hands in the air. Simon Says is another fun game to play while treading water. Another skill we introduce in level 4 is the somersault, which is a skill that will be used in level 5, learning how to do the flip turn. Each student gets a chance to practice their somersault. You will sometimes find students who've never even practiced a somersault on land, and they may struggle with the skill. The two boys do it pretty well without needing much help. When Ellie comes out for her turn, she struggles a bit. So Stephanie helps her by placing one arm across her belly, and the other arm is going to help tip her over.